Yo, 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 what's up, everybody? It's Barbarisi from the Bronx. I'm in the Dollar Tree. Guys, you have no idea what happened today. I went to the clinic to get, because what happened was when I went to the hospital that day, when I had the health scare, my blood pressure was 170, 190. I explained this. The Lord saved my life. I will never deny it. I felt like I was going to die. I don't get panic attacks, so I don't know what was happening. It was very scary. So I brought my paperwork. I went to the walk-in clinic because the hospital forgot to give me my referral to go to the cardiologist. So, just to make sure everything's okay, I said, you know what, Tito, I feel like I need to do this. I need to make sure that everything is okay, because after going through a health scare like that, it's in the back of my head, and I cry at least once a day, guys. Yes, Barbarisi cries once a day, begging God not to let anything happen to me, because people get heart attacks like this. Listen, I did a lot of drugs. Let's be real here. I did a lot of drugs in my life. I damaged, my body, and I need to. That's why I take really good care of myself now. Yes, on the outside, people could say, but you don't look like you did drugs, or, well, look, these are not my real teeth, so let's be real here. Come on now, I got track marks on my arms. I got bad feet from being out on the street for over a decade, so, looks can be deceiving. I feel healthy, I feel okay. I sometimes during the day, I feel, I don't know if it's because of what happened, I feel not chest pains, but I feel nervous about that something might happen to me. I really do. I feel like that, guys. I'm being totally honest with you, and that's why I'm always talking about appreciating every day, So I went to the clinic, and they said, oh, we can't see you. I said, excuse me? I said, what do you mean you can't? Oh, this isn't they seen Tito 2 weeks before that when Tito was getting chest pains. He went in there. Tito finally went in there, and he got blood work and everything. I said, look, I have my blood work here. I said, they forgot to give me my referral to the cardiologist. I walked all the way back to the hospital right after that, like last week, and they said I had to get triaged all over again just to get my referral. I was like, but that doesn't make sense. So I said, you know what, I'll just go to a walk-in clinic. I went to 2 walk-in clinics. One had a line all the way through the roof. I'm like, what if someone is, God forbid, someone's dying out here. They make you wait online? That's insane. I was like, you know what? So tomorrow, Tito's gonna walk me in personally where he went and said, look, you guys seen me, you could see my wife. It's only fair. I just wanna make sure I'm okay, guys, for Weedy B, for his sake. I'm trying to do the right thing, take precautions, so everything's okay for my son. I need to be here for him. He needs me. I know I didn't survive all of that stuff for something to happen to me now. No, there's no way God's gonna let that happen to me. But still, all in all, I'm not stupid, and I said I would get to go for a checkup, because in the emergency room, oh my God, that breaks my heart. In the emergency room, they do not give you any kind of blood pressure medication. You could be having, the only way they help you in the emergency room with blood pressure is if something is really going wrong, Oh, my heart breaks when I hear the children cry. So, guys, just keep Barbarisi in prayer, please. Thank you, all my subscribers that sent out prayers for me and my family. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. And I pray for all you guys too. I really do. I really do. So right now I'm looking in here for some, last minute goodies and stuff, since I couldn't see the doctor. They denied me. I told her, I said, if anything happens to me, it's on your head. If anything, because how could you deny coming in here humbly, asking to help, saying, there's something, I went to the hospital, and, you know what I told them just so they see me? I said I was getting chest pains because I figured I had to see it, and still they wouldn't see me. You believe that? You can go in there and say you're having chest pains and they won't see you. I mean, what is going on? That's insane. That's insane. So I am going to leave off. I'm going to start where I left off with my life story. I don't know if I should do that in here or I should do that outside. But let's see how it goes, because I'm very random. So where I left off was I was living with my dad. We told my dad that we were being abused, so I went to move in with my father. I was 8 years old, and my father was a good man. He always worked, he was a tough old-fashioned Italian. So it was his way or the highway. You can look at him wrong, you couldn't answer him back, none of that. Oh no, he was not having none of that. But my father did love us. He loved us very much, and he's the only one who came to bat when me and my sister were being abused. Nobody else did, only my father. And he made sure my cousin got convicted. My cousin wound up fleeing to Florida, and he wound up having 2 daughters of his own, which I hope to God that he never did anything to them. But there was something not right with him for what he used to do to me and my sister. So, and he was young. When he started molesting us, he must have been like 15 years old, 14, 15 years old. That's not normal. Something must have happened to him. I don't know what happened to him. He lost his father. I do know that. My Uncle Richie was a good man. And, I forgive him, but I'm just telling you guys what happened. And yes, it hurts, but I moved, I'm just telling you my story. I moved on, and I want to help other people that have been down the same road. So as I was saying, moved in with my father. My father, like I said, was a hardcore guinea. He didn't take no shit. Everything had to be, the way he wanted it, meaning like, if he said something, that's how it was. There was no questions asked. You weren't, no, there was nothing. And I wasn't allowed to do anything. My stepmother used to punish me every summer, and my father never really, he felt bad, but the thing was she had him so wrapped around her finger that no matter what she did or said, she could do no wrong. And she was very mean to me. She used to squeeze my face. She used to lie about me. She used to accuse me of doing terrible things that I didn't do, exaggerate if I did do something wrong. The typical stepmother thing. And my father admitted that he felt very, very bad about that. He did. He said that he cried to me, and he said he wished he never, ever left my mom. And he said he wished that he never, ever met her at the bar. He met her through his bar, JB's Pub. So, my stepmother was verbally, sometimes physically abusive. I was always punished. I was never allowed to go to my friends. Whatever friends I had, I went to 10 different schools because I moved around so much, and because I was a troubled kid. I didn't cause trouble in school. It's just that I was I was a promiscuous young girl because I was being sexually abused. So when I went to school, I was very flirtatious with boys, and I would get in trouble, and I'd have to go to another school, and also because I moved. And that's the truth. When girls or young girls are sexually abused, they wind up either, like my sister became more recluse, and I became very outgoing. I became very sexual at a very young age. I was masturbating at the age of 4 years old because I was being stimulated, and that's the truth. I remember, and I didn't even know what I was doing until I got older. I said, oh my God, this is what I was doing, and I had no idea. So 4 years of living with my dad, I couldn't take it no more. I begged my mother to move in with her, and I did. My stepfather was a very hard man too. He did not like me and my sister at all. So my mother pushed me on him. She would tell me to sit on his lap. She would tell me to rub his back. She would tell me to rub his feet. She would tell me to do all these things to him, I don't think she did it knowing that he would wind up becoming aroused from this, but he did. He did, and when she left for work, he would talk very dirty to me, and I was a very confused young girl, and that's the truth. And I was only 12 years old, and he said he wanted me and all kinds of shit. Yes, he did. And he would touch me and do all kinds of things to me. And then when my mother would come home from work, he'd push me off of him, and he would tell me, run in the bathroom. It was sick. It was so sick. And I was just a kid, you know what I'm saying? And I thought he loved me. He would tell me he loved me. He would call me his little wife in front of my mom. Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. My mom would giggle. She didn't even say, oh, what are you talking about, little wife? That's my daughter. What are you, fucking crazy? No, she didn't do none of that. She actually It seemed like it was a cute thing, and then she's like, oh, isn't Mike cute? Oh, isn't he so cute? Oh, touch his lip, touches this, touches. I'm telling you, I swear this is what happened. And people found out, like my brother seen something wasn't right. He would get jealous if I went out. My brother told my father, and my father's like, that son of a bitch is doing something to my daughter, and he was right. And my father wound up having him convicted. He was convicted. He did not go to jail, because what happened was, and wait, I'm jumping ahead. So even before that, my stepfather moved out with me at the age of 16 years old and tried to get an apartment. He actually rented an apartment so I'd move in with him. Just me and him. He bought me $1,000 dogs. One time he took me and my friend to Disney, and he jumped out of the bed in the middle of the night and started fingering me next to my friend Alicia, that he took us to Disney. And my mom was in the next bed, and my friend woke up and he jumped out of the bed and went back in his own. Yep. This is how sick and twisted my life was. And I didn't think there was anything wrong with it. I had no idea until I started getting older, and I used to cry to him like, this is not right. I said, what about my mom? You can't do this to her. You can't take me and move out. I know you love me. And I thought I loved him too. I'm not gonna lie. I really, really did. I really thought I loved this man. He gave me all the amenities I never had in my life. He gave me everything I never, even though I grew up in a nice home, we were not fed right. I had to scrap around for food. I'm telling you the truth. When I lived with my dad, because of my stepmother, not because of my father. My stepmother used to cook, and it'd be all kinds of like dog and cat hair in the food on purpose. Oh yeah, she used to like put it in the food, so I didn't eat well as a child. My dad owned a coffee truck after he worked for Pepsi in the bar, and me and my sister used to have to sneak food. And if we snuck food from the coffee truck, my stepmother used to have a fit. One time her nephews came over, and they were able to take whatever they wanted from the truck. And when me and my sister did, she started bugging out. My brother Anthony was like, why can your nephews and nieces take everything from the truck, and Tara and Diane can't take nothing? Yeah, my brother bugged out. He bugged out. And my father knew. The thing is, my father, she did a lot of things behind his back. Like, I don't think my father realized how bad she was, because he was so in love with her. But I don't blame my dad for any of this. My father, I love my dad. I love him with all my heart. He was a good man, and I forgive him for letting my stepmother do these things to me. I really do. I forgive him, And my father had a lot of wonderful ways about him. Like I said, he was the only one who came to bat. The only one. He's the one who got Mike convicted of statutory rape. And I didn't even, like I said, so I met George, my first two kids' father. That's when I met him, and me and him went to Texas. We went to Mexico. Back then it was easy to go over the border. I did have a non-driver's ID then, so I think that is also how I was able to get there. But we took the Greyhound all the way to McAllen, Texas. Yes, we did. McAllen, Texas was the most exciting thing that I've ever done in my life. Besides my weenie bee, and my children, but I'm talking about travel-wise. So we took the Greyhound, and I was so excited, and it was great. We stopped in all the southern states, and it took 3.5 days. I actually seen a tornado, too, I think somewhere along the line, I think in Alabama or something. I remember all the stops. It was great. It was wonderful. I remember we went to Maryland, and the lady's like, oh, you think New York City's bad? She's like, welcome to the Twilight Zone about Maryland. I was like, oh my God. It was pretty scary over there. Remember, I wasn't from the city. I was the only kid born on Long Island. So, it was new to me, So when I first met my first two kids' father, he was a good guy, He was great. He was fun. He was exciting. He was handsome. He had all these great qualities, and he started to drink. That fucking alcohol, guys. It ruins people. I tell you that alcohol ruins people. It ruins people. So, I wound up getting pregnant. I wound up getting married. And it was crazy. It was great at first. It was crazy how things went, Excuse me, it's crazy how things just took a turn for the worse as soon as he started drinking. I had my son. He'll be 23 in March 25th. And, You know, that was just like Weedy B. I was the same way, guys, the same way. I'm telling you, the same way. I used to sing to him, dance with him. SpongeBob would come on. He'd be like, Mommy, dance, and all this stuff. And it was wonderful. And then I had my daughter the day after 9/11. I was in labor with her on 9/11 while the towers were being hit. I was getting my sonogram. That very moment they were taking the sonogram, the towers were hit. That very moment. That very moment. I'm trying to respect other people because I don't have my mask on. So anytime someone comes near me, I go like this, so I walk really fast away from them. You know, you gotta respect other people's space. But it's raining outside, so I felt that this was, I don't go out. I only go out on Tuesdays, so I went out to the doctor, and you guys know what happened with that. So what happened is like I said, he started drinking, started getting abusive. The neighbors called the police called Children's Services. Then when Children's Services got involved, they cast him out of the household. He came to the house, they caught him in the house. My sister-in-law offered to take my kids in, my brother Jimmy's wife. She had my kids for 2 days. She didn't want them no more. She said she was gonna drop them off at the precinct. I lost my mind. When I lost my kids, I lost my mind. And then when they went to my brother's house, it was like, okay, good. So the courts want me to go to domestic violence. They want me to go to parenting classes. I did all of those things. And it wasn't good enough then because I didn't have nowhere to live. My father would not take me in with my kids because of my stepmother. They were adopting their own child from China. That's what they did. So the time when my children were being taken, my dad and my stepmother, instead of taking my kids in, adopted a child from China. And I'm glad that they did because, they saved a life, but the house was big enough for everybody. It was big enough for everybody could have lived there. My kids and their child, it could have been fine. It was a 4-bedroom house with a dining room, a living room, and a den. It was a big home. There was no reason. There was no reason for them not to take my kids in, guys. It wasn't fair. And then after my sister-in-law, the bad one, Nancy, had them for 2 days, she's like, she called my father, she's like, if you don't get these effing kids about my children, if you don't get these effing kids out of here, I'm gonna drop them off at the precinct. This is what she told my father. So then my sister-in-law, Nydia, took my children in. It was wonderful. They were there. Their house was falling apart, so the evil sister-in-law called social services on them, and she called up my sister-in-law, the good one, and said, if you keep for no reason. Now mind you, I'm 21 years old. I never did anything to my sister-in-law, nothing to this woman. I was not on drugs. I did nothing. I didn't even smoke cigarettes, and that's the truth. It's crazy. So she's like, if you keep Tara's kids, I'm gonna make you lose your own kids because your house is falling apart, and that Department of Social Services is not going to allow you to keep your children and her children, under those conditions. And that's what happened. The house was falling apart, and she had no right to do what she did. No right. How are you gonna have my children in a family's home where they're safe, where I can visit them and know that they're okay, and turn around and try to get my kids taken out so they go in foster care? What kind of a human being does that? What kind of a human being does that? There gotta be something wrong with her to do something like that, You don't do that. Excuse me. You don't do that. That's not normal. Does that sound normal to you? My kids are safe. My kids are in a family member's house where I can visit them. I was able to visit them. It was wonderful. I was going to everything the courts asked me to do. Then they went into foster care and everything went downhill. I started to get very depressed. The courts kept telling me, you're not gonna be able to get your kids because you don't have nowhere to live. Where are you gonna take them? They're in a stable environment. They're doing good. We're not gonna give them to you so you can live in a shelter with them. I'm telling you, this is what they told me. This is what the system did to me. And after that, I couldn't take no more. I couldn't take no more. They just were not gonna give me my kids. Every time I went to court every single time, and it was always a story. It was always a runaround. It was always something that I had to do else, or it wasn't good enough. And even the public lawyer was like, "Oh, did you know that they get a bonus when they adopt your children out? A bonus. They get a bonus for adopting people's children, giving them to to strangers. To strangers." I used to get on the floor and cry to God, "Lord, why you take my kids from me? I love them. This is my son, my life, just like Weedy B, the same thing." Then Hunts Point happened. Started to use drugs. I met this Jewish guy. He took me to Hunts Point. I wasn't a prostitute at first, but I hung out with all the prostitutes because that's where all the drugs were. You know, he drove a Corvette. He had a lot of money. I just didn't want to feel no more. They terminated my rights, and I lost it. I lost myself. I lost my mind. And the rest is just all downhill. Lived in the street. After the Jewish guy, he was married to a police officer. After that, I wound up prostituting after I left him. Stayed in the streets of Hunts Point, and then I met this guy, Mike. He took me under his wing. He had mad respect in Hunts Point. That's how I have the respect that I have today. If it wasn't for him, I probably wouldn't have made it. I wouldn't have made it. There's no way. I probably would have been killed. Somebody would have poisoned me. But if Mike, because he was Nieta, he was Puerto Rican, he had street credit, he knew everybody respected him. He was an OG. And he was madly in love with me. And if it wasn't for Mike Rivera, I would have been dead. I would have been dead. There ain't no doubt. And Brooklyn, if you're watching this, you know I'm telling the truth. Desire, if you're watching this, you know I'm telling the truth. You know damn well if it wasn't for Mike, I would have been dead. You know you guys had my back, but you know how those streets can be. I got the scars to prove it. Now, out on those streets is another story. And that's what I'll get into next time, because it's already 22 minutes and 30 seconds and counting. I love you guys. Next time, I'll be getting into the street ventures. It's going to get real then. All right, guys. God bless you. Pray for good old Barbarisi's ticker. I love you guys, and I'll see you on the rebound. Ciao.